I've just been talking for the past 3 minutes, thinking, why isn't anybody saying yes when I ask for a sound check? And then I realized I'm not live. I guess that would be a story of my life, but really, when you think about it, it's true. My partners, my friends always say it's funny because when you're not doing the work, you're just a normal guy who makes mistakes. But when you start doing the work, you change into something completely different. And it's true. And when people say, "Oh, you're such a lovely guy, you're so kind and caring and loving, and you're such a great healer," but when I'm not healing, I'm just like anybody else. Just like you, make mistakes, trip up, fall, get back up, swear, get angry, get down. But when I'm doing the work, if it's healing or psychic work, I'm in that zone, I'm in that mode. Just like I guess any other person working in that mode, sculptor, Formula One driver. When you're in that mode, and I guess that's what tonight's all about, it's being in the mode. So, welcome everybody to the tonight's psychic seminar. Beautiful, eh? I'm always at my best when I'm talking like this. I love it because it's where I'm comfortable at. It's my life. It's 20 years of doing this work, and I guess most of all to be able to share the information that you've learned over 20 years. It seems to be it seems such a shame. My first mentor used to keep it a secret, and it used to frustrate me so much that she held back. And I realize now what a brilliant mentor she was, because she taught me what not to be. And that's the truth. And that's why when people ever come to my courses over these years, if anybody ever came for a reading or a healing, they know that I never held back. I gave everything. When I teach, I give everything. I don't hold back on things that are secrets and things that I want people not to know, so I have the upper hand. This isn't politics. This isn't, a hierarchy of Scientology. You only know when you get so high, the 13th. Like, no, share your truth. There is obviously times where you may share something and it just goes over people's heads. That's okay, that's fine. You may share things that people might say they're not ready for. That's fine also. But to me, I'm not gonna not share my truth and my wisdom that I've learned through clients and through all the beautiful souls that I've met over the years. Phenomenal things that have happened in my life. Why wouldn't you want to share it? To give to others to be able to either digest it or let it go or just call it wacky. Doesn't really matter. So tonight I thought, well, what because I'm enjoying these evenings of doing like an hour seminar. It's a great energy for me. It just gives me enough to be able to share with you, and then I really love it. I really enjoy it, whatever the subject matter is. So tonight it's tarot cards, angel cards. I think I'd like to start with this. I have to start with this because if I don't start with this, it's letting the spirit world down. So in my healing psychic years, I started reading tarot cards from angel cards. So I went onto these cards, tarot cards. They're slightly different from all of the cards. I don't read them like tarot decks that you would, where you'd get your book and you'd read it and it tells you what the swords are and the two of swords, three of swords, and so on. No, I read them completely different. So as I was reading these and started getting into reading it, um, a lady came into the shop where I was working upstairs, and sometimes I'd come downstairs to cover the shop for when I was married to my wife, who I'm no longer married to, but I used to sit there and just wrap and pack. when Susie would go for something to eat. So one particular afternoon, I'm wrapping and packing, and this lady and gentleman, this couple came in, and I recognized them from our urbanization. And they said, "Hello, Mark." I went, "Hi, how are you? It's been a long time. Yeah, I ain't seen you for a while." They come over for holidays, and they bought a place where we lived. And she said, "How are you doing?" And I said, "Well, my life's kind of changed a little bit." And she says, "Why?" And I just changed from reading angel cards to tarot cards. She didn't even know what I did. And I says, "Oh, I've started doing something a little bit different." And like, "Oh yeah, what's that?" And I said, "I've started reading tarot cards." And she went very quiet, and it kind of went silent. And like, I felt a bit, oh my God, I hope she's not upset with me, because there's such an awful energy of people who believe tarot cards are dangerous, and the death card, and the hangman, and the tower, and so on. So I started to feel guilty, and like, she just went out. They just went out. And I felt, right, okay, that's another one who hates me now, you know. And I'm blaming religion and thinking all sorts in my head, but I was feeling bad, you know. Why does everybody get so upset when this is mentioned? Anyway, a few days later, I don't know how long, but I was in the shop again. I don't know exactly how it happened. Somebody, Susie sometimes employed somebody else, so it could have been that somebody called me from upstairs, and or I could have been in the shop again wrapping and packing. I can't remember. It's a while ago, and I don't want to say something else. So anyway, they both came back, and I'm, as soon as I saw them, I'm like, "I'm so sorry." And she said, "What? I'm sorry." Like, because all I envisioned was that she's going to be upset with me again. And she said, "No, stop, Mark." And she starts telling me a story about a son called Gregor. And Gregor lived in Scotland, and he worked on a fish farm. And she's telling me this story, and said he worked there for a few years. And in the time he was working, when he finished his work, he'd go home, and he had a hobby. And the hobby was to do with um, Celtic, Scottish symbolism. And she said he worked on a project, and she got this bag out, which was wrapped up. And she said, and Gregor passed away a short while ago. And I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And as she's telling me this, she's got tears in her eyes. And she said, "When I came in and left very quickly," she said, "I was so taken aback, because at that particular day, I had this, and I didn't know what to do with them." And she said, "And then I knew, these are for you." So Gregor had made these cards. These are tarot cards, and he made them by his own hand. And the symbolism, as you can see, is slightly different from the symbolisms on most of the tarot cards. They're very different. Okay, you see butterflies and catching the butterfly. The symbolisms in all of this, his symbolisms that he took from what he loved to do, which was symbolism. And the back of the card, this is what he did with the back of the card. He did that himself as well. So this is years of work. Now, I was so taken aback, so taken back. And first of all, I want to thank Gregor for doing such an amazing job. And one day, if I can find a publisher that would be interested in printing these, I think maybe one day I will do it. But until then, they stay with me. And every time I do a tarot workshop or anything like this, if people come here to learn tarot, for 3 days, or the online tarot course. I don't know if I mentioned it in the tarot course or not, but anyway, when I'm ever with people, this comes out and I share this story. So I want to share this story out of love and respect, and to keep Gregor's memory alive, and to say thank you for that. And maybe one day I will do I don't know, I'm not sure, but maybe. But there you go. That's a beautiful story that is written in a book called Diary of an Accidental Psychic by Bajerski. So I don't really know that many other psychics, in the sense of those that believe that they had this ability as children, and that they are, pretty powerful. They're special and they're different from anybody else, and they have this gift. I've never bought into that, because for me, when I read, um, it's not something that I would say is natural. It's something that I have to really work hard at. And yes, over the years it got easier and I got more comfortable, and I learned so much by constantly being a reader. So it became a little bit easier. The fear disappeared. I grew stronger, but always kept the balance in reading, and always kept my feet on the ground. Never a day came that I stood up and thought I was impressive and brilliant and special. Struggle with that, because I think we all are. And to believe that I am better than somebody else, uh, shame on me if I ever felt like that. We all have gifts, each one of us. And if I said to you, you started talking to me about, the moon or the stars, or, concreting or whatever, I have no clue of most things in life. But then, if somebody said to me, do you know how to do an inverted bob? I'd say I could do that in half an hour and make it look absolutely beautiful. Could you do a flat top? Like back in the days, I could do a flat top. It'd take me 1 hour, and I'd do a perfect flat top, because I was fantastic at certain things in hairdressing. So we all have gifts. So to look down on other people, especially in this field of work, the psychic work, it makes me my stomach turn, with so many people who start getting onto the ladder of spirituality, then look down on everybody else because they've got a bit of knowledge on this subject. So I don't particularly like the field of psychic. I definitely don't like psychic groups and circles, because I just think there's so much ego in there that I stay well away from all of them. So I'm going to share with you what I learned, because I soon realized that the psychic circles, the spiritualist circles and all that, were for me the most awful gatherings that I went to, and the jealousy, the anger, and the almost like regimental um, behaviors. And if you didn't do what they said, then you would be deemed insubordinate, just like school, really. So I started really by what's called energy feeling. So what I would do is, if you laid your hands down in front of me, I would take my hands and get comfortable and put my hands above yours and close my eyes with this similar music on, and just feel the energy and see what happened. I didn't look for anything. I was just waiting to see if I felt anything. I was equally happy when I never felt anything, and I was happy because, oh, good, feels great, nothing feels untowards. If I put my hands over yours and started to feel something strange in my body, like a feeling of pain somewhere, I would instantly say, I've got a feeling of pain in my left shoulder. And then the client would go, shit, I've just done my left shoulder in. Or I can feel my toe, left middle toe is absolutely throbbing. shit, I banged my toe last night. So people used to come away saying, this guy, he felt my issue. And it wasn't a big deal to me. It was like, I think we've all got this ability. So the ability of feeling energy, and energy is anything. Energy is pain, suffering, blocks, physical issues, and so on. So I was just like, it was interesting to feel. And if I didn't feel anything, I think, good. And they'd look at me and say, what did you do that for? Some people would say, I said, just to feel your energy, and it feels great. And they go, oof, thank goodness for that. I like, yeah, nothing. But then if there was something, I'd say, oh, I just got like a little, like I write in my book, one lady I like to bring, I said, it was, sorry, I'll come, no, that was when I was reading for, you see, this is how beautiful it gets, right? I'm reading for a lady in front of me from Denmark, and I start talking about a daughter. Soon as I start talking about a daughter, I went, oh shit, ow, 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 ow. I says, oh, there's something wrong in my stomach. I says, this might be your daughter. Is there any way you could ask your daughter to go and just have a checkup, right? 2 weeks later, she calls me. She said, you're never going to believe this. I told my daughter, and my daughter said, oh my God, yeah, I started to get stomach issues, but not like big deal. But because a daughter says, a mum says, well, Mark says, if you just go for a checkup, and she found out that her stomach had split, there was a split inside, and she was so close to getting some kind of poisoning, or the doctor said this could have been mega serious. Like, so that was like, wow, this is like, there's nobody more surprised than me. Like, wow. It's not like, oh, I know these things, and I know why, and I don't know anything. I just know certain feelings that come through, and I'm just reading or feeling the energy. So there's a connection between the cards and the energy that you're feeling on somebody's hands. When you go to the cards and you read the cards, you're tuning into energy of the cards connected to who you're reading with. So they're all kind of tools. So your hands are the best tools there are. But it's feeling and trusting that feeling and going with that feeling. Was there ever a time that I said, oh, I felt something like really bad and it wasn't? I can't remember. And I don't remember ever saying to a client, oh, I think there's something bad. And then they go away and it wasn't. I don't honestly, because I would have remembered that straight away. That would have really upset me. And I said in my book, I'm the first person to throw the towel in. If something goes wrong, I'm gone. I'm a runner. But this was the only thing I didn't run away from, because I don't think I remember only one lady when she had a healing session and she drove across the top of the mountain. She rung me. She said, do you know what you're doing this? And I went, no, I'm really just starting. She said, well, you should be careful, because I nearly killed myself. I nearly wanted to drive off the mountain. And that I was so close to finishing. But now it ended up that was her moment, that she woke up and realized that she needed to change her life. And she's one of my best friends now. And she's healed herself of alcohol. She's healed herself of many things. And I use that story in healing, in the healing 4-day course. But yeah, that was really the only thing. There was another thing where I healed a lady, and she went down the stairs, because I worked at another shop then, and she went down the stairs, and the next day she couldn't walk back up the stairs hardly at all, and she couldn't walk up the stairs the first time, but this time it was even worse. So at that point I said, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not doing any healing work. And when she came to the top of the stairs, I said, I just kept apologizing, and I'm so sorry. And she said, what's wrong? I said, I can see you coming up the stairs, and you're walking, and it looks like the healing didn't work at all. And she told me to shut up. She said, just stop. She said, I've had this pain for all my life. She said, that was the first day that I was able to walk down them stairs, and I had half an hour of free, painless back, shoulders, spine. She said I would climb Mount Everest to come for another healing session to feel that peace and that healing that I got. So that they're the only two times really. So yeah, going back to healing, as you place your hands over somebody else, you should try it and do it as a nice way. Look for, before you do it, just look for positive things. You're not looking for negative things. Look for positive things. So feel for what your client feels like, or your sister or brother or friend. Just put your hands over theirs. You hover above them about there till you feel the energy, because sometimes the energy is a little bit higher depending on how strong they are. If they're feeling really down, you might have to come further down, because their energy, well, we call it energy, but life force, chi, prana. So you feel that energy, you're in that energy and you're feeling it. So you can get lots of feelings when you're working in that energy mode, and it's fabulous, because you should be open to anything. If, for instance, you're focused on a certain thing when you're doing this energy feeling work, I think that limits you to what might be given to you as you're doing it. So I found myself saying, no, I'm not going to think about what I need to feel. I'm not going to try and find if there's any issues. I'm not going to try and find anything. I'm just going to put my hands there and see what I feel. And I don't even try and find anything. I just put my hands there. And if someone like, oh, Jesus Christ, my eye is killing. Oh my God, I'm having issues with this eye. There is something that I did get wrong, right? And I have to put my hands up and admit it. Sometimes when I was reading for somebody, I would feel the pain in this eye and say, oh, my left eye is hurting. And she would say, or he would say, it's my right eye. So then sometimes I realized I was a kind of mirror image. So what I was feeling on this side is the same side as yours. So it's the opposite, if you understand what I mean. But then I started not saying so much left side and right side, because I sometimes get it wrong, but they would still say, but bloody hell, he knew. They'd go out and say to a friend, sat down, how did he know, right, that I had an issue, and I had an operation wherever my knee, like I could, like knees, oh my God, I could feel the pain in the knees on many people, and say, oh my God, I can feel your knee, there's a bad issue in there, there's something that needs to be healed or is being healed, and I can feel your knee is in pain. And then they'd go and sit with a friend and say, I've got my trousers on. I came up the stairs and I walked like normal. I wasn't not walking weird. It's just a pain in the knee, but it doesn't. Yeah. So they go, wow, I want to read in with him. So I ended up I became popular because they couldn't explain what was happening. And I would never allow anybody to leave their last name, only first name. So then they couldn't go away and say, oh, this guy, is a fraud. He goes onto the internet and finds out who that person is. And I didn't want to know. And if you tell me who they are, I don't want to read for them. That's what I used to say. Don't tell me that, or else I won't read for them. Or now I can't read for them. Or now, if I read for them and I feel what you're telling me, I won't even talk about it. So don't tell me about. I used to be so adamant, almost to the point of aggressive, because I want it to be like, okay, this guy is doing something that can't be explained, which means that there is something in this psychic field. There is something. So I didn't do it out of trying to prove anything, but I just didn't want to be called a scammer. And I knew there was a lot of scammers about. I had many people ask me to do TV all the time, and I said no. And anytime I was interested in doing TV, like, why am I doing it? Why are you calling me? What for? Well, she really needs your help. So what? Well, why can't I just do a healing and reading without the cameras? Well, it would be nice, and we follow her around. And I'm like, so you think it's going to help? Yeah. And I said, you're going to shut up. You're not going to say anything. You're just going to let me do my work. And basically all you do is film. So you keep out of the way. The sound people and all that, just don't look at me. Just keep out of the way. Yeah. All right. Then I'll read for Kerry Katona. So I did a 1 hour reading for Canon Studios, and that got taken down. It wasn't even allowed to go on. Because of one reason or another, and I call it Spirit's Helping Hand, because I didn't want to be famous. I didn't want that shit, and I don't even know why I did it, but I was happy to help her, and then we became friends, and I read for her ever since, and her partners, and so on, and so, and then there was another case where I don't know if you're bored about this, but if it's boring you, but it's good to know if you're doing. See, I've made this psychic seminar because in my head, I'm thinking if you're becoming a reader, I want to give you foundations. I want to give you the things that you can think about so you don't go off the rails and go crazy like many people do. So Gibraltar TV rung me up and said, we want you to do a show. And I said, what is it? It's to come down here and spend the night in a barracks. And I said, okay, cool. You mean to help spirit back into the spirit world? They said, you can do what you want, but we just want you to give us some information of who's in the barracks and why these things are happening. And I said, well, if it means me helping clearing spirit out and helping them go home, that's something I'd like to do. I'm not really bothered about being on camera. But they said, well, it might be a little bit of camera work, but I said, well, I'll think about it. Then they sent me a script of a girl at 18 years old who took a life, and she was there, and like sent a message back. Why did you send me this? I can't do it now. What do you mean? I said, you've just told me who it is. The whole point about what you asked me to do is to say who was in there, and then you realize it's all scripted. They just want you to say it because of money and all that. But somebody did it. Another psychic did it who wasn't very good, and she became famous. And then everybody was sending me messages saying I went for a reading with this woman because it was on Gibraltar TV, and she was not very good and really bad comments. And I'm like, well, not my issue. TV, you shouldn't be watching TV anyway. It's crap. So TV is just BS, especially the corporate media TV. So going on to this energy work that you do when you're putting your hands over people, you can easily feel certain feelings that come up where it might be the heart related. So you feel something and you feel your heart. And as you put your hands over them, you feel a pain in the heart. And then that pain relates to a thought that your mind picks up. So I feel you're in pain. I know why you're in pain, because that has a frequency that is the same as the frequency of many other people. So it could be heartache. It could be heart attack. It could be heart, or let's go to the brain now. It could be like a monkey mind, or it could be a pain in the brain that was a stroke. It could be, down in your private parts for a man. And, there's an issue here. That issue could be related to, again, a physical issue, which could turn out to be even worse if we're not careful. So we try and find the pain and suffering of like the heart. So what is that? What's that pain? That's grief. So you can learn, you can attune to a lot by just placing your hand over other people, and it's incredible. When it comes to tarot cards, I find them fascinating because the way I read tarot card is not particularly by what I've learned through books. So and these tarot cards were given to me by my first mentor, who knew that I'd be able to read them. And she used to have tons of decks, but she just knew that these were the cards that I would read. So I just give you an example. So this is one card, and it says fuerte. So that's strength. So this is if you look at it, you can see the power in that card. And what was once a brick wall surrounding maybe your heart, your mind, now the ones there normally talking about the mind. So it could be that it relates to your mind. However, when I'm reading for you, it might not be the mind. It might be the stomach. It might be the heart. It could be anywhere. But what I am looking at is a card that is showing me that the light is breaking free whatever the issue is. So it could be a trapped issue in the stomach that is of trauma that you can't move away from. It could be something trapped in the heart that you have been let down, or you know, somebody's had an affair, your partner had an affair, and you surrounded yourself and you felt hard, and then this light just blew it away. So show you another card here. So this is a representation of, if I'm talking to you now and I pull this card out, I'm smiling saying, well, whatever you're doing a bloody good job. Why? One, because you've taken control of the wheel of your car. It means that you are in the driving seat. It means that you are heading for the finishing line. You are safe because that helmet is there to protect you. That means that that light in your helmet is you. So you are burning bright. You are light. You are powerful. You are heading in the right direction. There is no stopping you. You're a champion, you see. So how I read the cards is nothing like the Way deck, nothing like any of the other decks. This is a modernized version of tarot cards by a genius called Carl Rorik. Genius. And I don't even know if he knows he's a genius. And the genius, what I'm talking, is channeling these, which were actually huge paintings, and they were sold for 50,000 plus each painting. And then he decided, some reason, I don't even think he realized, that he was going to make a set of tarot cards with all his paintings. So incredible. Here's another one. So what we're looking at there is a woman holding a set of scales. Well, you can see a set of scales like as balanced, or you can see a set of scales, if I'm looking at that, you're unbalanced. But what interests me most of all is I look at this woman, she's got her arms folded. Well, that normally means that I'm protecting myself, or I don't want people to come into my energy. And plus the fact, I don't like the fact that I'm blindfolded, which means that I don't want to see. I don't want to know. Could it be that you've got a lot of issues and you don't want to talk about it? Could it be that you're not interested? However, look at the light around your head. It shows that you're trying to, without you even realizing, your body is trying to break free from this. The energy around your head, which is powerful, is trying to take that bloody facial mask, or whatever you want to call it, blindfold. It just needs to come off, and then you will find your balance, and you'll find your strength, and you'll find your power. So you see, this is how I read the cards. And if I'm sat in front of you and I start to read you now, so let's just do that now. I've got the cards here, so I'm in front of you, and I'll start the reading by just taking the top card. So I'll look at you and feel your energy. Then I'll stop, look down, not look at you, turn the card and say straight away, I can see there's healing going on in your mind. I can feel the energy of healing in your mind. The secret to your healing, the secret to your inner peace and peace in your mind, is to break free from this ego, from this need to control, from this need to try and fix, from this need to be stronger and more powerful than those around you, because by doing this, you are causing pain and suffering to yourself. And it looks like, if you're not careful, if you continue doing this, that you will cause your mind to explode. So you need to heal yourself. You need to let go. Everything that you've done up till now has been a perfect thing. There's nothing wrong with what you've done, but you're now going too far. It's going too much, and it's turning into paranoia. And to your family and your children are looking at you as if to say, you're becoming more judgmental, you're becoming more opinionated, you're becoming more difficult, you're becoming more challenging. You need to stop now. What you've done is enough. It's perfect. Now you've got to let your children and your friends and everybody, let them be, and you need to heal yourself. So that's how I see that within this card. And it's sometimes it's good to share something that might be a little bit heavy, to wake somebody up. And sometimes people can say, wow, that was a little bit much, but actually it's probably bloody true. And they've gone away, not said anything, sat down about it, then they come back again and they say, well, it felt a little bit hard, that reading, but in time you realize that it was bloody true. And I've had readings before, from people. Dodie read for me, when I don't even know why she came to the Pure Energy Healing Academy to learn tarot card, but she took a 3-day course. And I always ask them to read for each other. And she read for me, and she said, what looks like you and your partner will be breaking up or splitting up. She'll be going to a different part of the world. You'll be here, and then you'll move on with your lives, and you'll be doing different things. And like, wow, that was a bit heavy. So you're saying I'm splitting up from my wife, and she's gonna go somewhere else? And like, and I went, nah, I'm not taking that, right? And then next thing, China turns 16. China wants to learn how to do martial arts and fighting. The only place she could do it is Brighton to learn boxing. So she went to Brighton with my wife. Then they went there, and then for 2 years. So she learned there, and I was here working. And then when China turned 18, me and Susie went our separate ways. It was an absolutely bang on reading. So why should I be angry at Dodie for telling the truth? So, and now I look back and think, wow, she was a brilliant reader, but she was a reader well before. And I said, why did you even bother coming? But she wanted to experience, see if she's missing anything and learn. And I thought, wow, oh, spirit's in the room. So here's a good one. I've got spirit in the room now. My ear kind of popped. My whole head went like that, and my ears just whistling like mad. So there is spirit in the room now. That often happens when you're talking about something profound, and there's something in that. So just so you know, so when working with tarot, or working with, let's say, angel cards, what is the difference? They're all tools, of course, but each one of them either breaks you free or limits you to a certain degree. So angel cards can be quite limited because it's a message. However, right, I started with angel cards, and I put the cards out. They were Doreen Virtue. Doreen did a 180, bless her, and now she's saying that they're evil, but that's okay. Everybody, each to their own. Maybe one day I'll do a 180 and say they're evil, but up until this moment, I don't feel anything evil. I feel very, very good. I feel everything that I've done thus far in life has helped more people than it hasn't. I've helped people who wanted to kill themselves every day for the past 20 years. And I get messages on a daily basis saying, I actually was going to leave this world, and thank you. And I get that all the time. Why? Well, I wonder how many times Doreen Virtue up till this moment has saved people. I'm not so sure. I don't think so. I think her cards saved a lot of people, and I think her cards were fantastic to help people along their journey when they were a little bit stuck. So there's scallywags in every field of work, by the way, every field of work. So, there's going to be good psychics and there's going to be scallywags. There's going to be good healers and there's going to be scallywags. I think there's less scallywags as healers, because I don't think a scallywag would really want to just spend all day for 1 hour at a time healing people if they knew they couldn't do it and they were just doing it for money. I'd find that kind of like, I think they'd think of other ways of making, of ripping people off easier. So, yeah, I think the psychic field, there is a massive issue with ego. And once this energy starts kicking in, it's like, okay, now your antenna is vibrating at a really high frequency. There's two ways you can go now. You can go in the darkness way, or you can go in the light way. And I think a lot of them feed the darkness instead of the light, and that's the ego, and that's where manipulation comes in, and that's where they start getting the God complex, and that's where they start telling you, no, 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 you're wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. and like where they start bullying and then they start feeding. They start literally feeding from fear. So then they start telling people bad things to send fear them. Somebody even sent me a message the other day saying, on here somewhere, saying, I went to a psychic and they said that I was going to die or somebody was trying to kill me. Normally when I read things like that, I go on gut feeling. So if somebody says, I don't feel well, I think I've got cancer or something's wrong, I normally get this feeling in my stomach, and that's my gut feeling. So I go to my stomach, and if somebody's saying something, I'll feel it in my stomach. If I don't feel it in my stomach, then I just say I don't feel anything. So and normally this gut has served me well for 20 years. This feeling has served me well for 20 years. And, you know, thousands of people have come to me with the belief system that there was something wrong with them because a psychic told them there was, or that the end of the world's coming in 2 weeks. And I'm like, I don't feel anything. Or something bad's going to happen. I don't feel anything. And then they go, oh, thank God for that. And then they're fine. And the day when they said the world's going to end didn't end. So it's like, you know, you've got to understand that when you sway to the way of ego, when you sway to the way of power, because there is power in this, you know, you're taking the power out of somebody else if you do it when you sway to ego. When you stay in your lane and when you do this in a spiritual manner and a loving manner, you don't take power off somebody. They get up and they're empowered and they walk out of that door feeling amazing. If they walk out of that door feeling shit and weak, you've just stolen their power. And you should feel ashamed and you should feel bad about what you've done. And you should look in the mirror and start and then just sit down and look at that by taking yourself out of your ego seat and put yourself into their seat and then give that reading to you and see how you feel. I always like to turn it the other way. If I'm having an argument with my partner or somebody, I stop, put myself in their shoes, and then start to argue against me with that argument and see where it feels. And then you realize arguments are pathetic. They're a waste of bloody time. Just don't even bother. Just be nice. Just be nice. So be nice when you're giving a reading. Be mindful of how you give information in a way of love and not suck their energy so they turn into a skeleton and drop down. There's nothing worse than somebody going out of the door. And I heard it so many times. So many people came to me saying, Mark, I don't know what to do. I'm like, okay, here we go. I went to a healer and he said that I've got darkness all over me and there's evil and there's this. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, I don't feel anything. And I can't help you because I don't feel anything. Oh, well, I need your help. I don't know how to help you. If you want a healing session, I can give you a healing session. Yes, please. Give them a healing session. What did you feel? Nothing. You didn't even need to be here. You were fine. The only thing was that you had fear in your head because somebody just given you, but there's nothing on you and nothing around you and nothing in you. So I got this constantly. It was like, I don't know what it is. I don't know why healers have to be like that. If your work is true, if your work is pure, you don't need to say anything. The work speaks for itself. So when you give psychic readings, you read with love. What you're looking for in the psychic reading is the answer to everything, or answers, as I come to understand. So if we're at a crossroads, we look at 3 or sometimes 4 ways of how to move forward, giving your client the opportunity to take their power back and make the decision which way to go. Oh, Mark mentioned in this reading that if I went to Australia, that it might take 6 months before I'm on my feet, but after that I'm flying. If I went to Canada, it would be more challenging. It'd take maybe 2 years. If I went to America, it would be not brilliant, but after a while it might get a little bit better. Okay, well, I think I still want to go to America. But now I have the information of what I need to do to try and change that. So you take the power back by saying, okay, well, if it's going to be difficult, what can I do to break that? That's what we used to look at. So we never ended it at that. We used to say, okay, well, I really like to go to afterwards. Is there anything would you like to ask? Well, thank you for that. And I was thinking maybe we can look more into America. So I turn a card over. Okay, let's have a look more at America. So I've just done that card. So I'll turn 2 cards over and look at that. Well, it looks like you'll be connecting with somebody very special. I'm saying I'm talking to a male guy. It looks like a woman who's really powerful. She's got long hair. She's got a lot of dark makeup over her eyes. She's super intelligent. She's a great writer. It looks like you two will get together. You might be a bit frustrated when you're with her. You might struggle a little bit, but she is definitely somebody that can help you along your journey and open you up and heal you from a lot of frustrations. So you have to learn to listen, and so on and so on. So it would be like I would never leave something so somebody stood there saying, oh shit, what do I do? And a good reader will never leave somebody like not knowing what to do. In fact, you should give them so much information that they record. And I like people to record I did when I gave readings, or a lot of people didn't record because back then it was like a little recorder, but they always used to put it right next to me. I said, yeah, why not? And then they press play, or they'd be writing it down. So they wouldn't even look at me. They'd just be writing everything down, and I'd be giving them information. And then people would come back 5 years later and say, just look at this, Mark. And I'd sit down, have a coffee with them and go, bloody hell. Wow, it's like reading what's happened to you. It's like actually everything that has been said has happened to you. It's like, it's amazing. Would you wonder why all of this information is given and why it's there? I actually think to myself that we've been so blocked and we've been so traumatized and we've been so poisoned that that this universe, that humanity and some other reasons is that they don't want us to. I do wholeheartedly believe that this world once didn't have a moon. And I wholeheartedly believe that when that moon wasn't here, there wasn't shipwrecks. The sea was very calm. I do believe that we could communicate via telepathy. And I totally believe that we could see our future and we could see different paths and we could see where we were going and we could see years ahead if we wanted to and navigate through life like that. It's been cut off, it's been severed. So now we only capture glimpses of this. And I believe it was actually part of a normal time that we lived, that we could communicate via telepathy, and we were such high frequency beings that something had to come here and stop us from that. And I believe the moon did that. I don't care what anybody says, but I believe the moon is definitely a disruptor for our power and our healing abilities. And that's why the moon has the energy to be able to pull the sea one way and push it the other way. Imagine what it does to our body when we're 70% water. It pulls us and pushes us and it disrupts us. Some people love it. Some people love the moon. For me, I just look up and think, it just doesn't seem right. And when you look at ancient history and listen to the ancients talk about this, they said that the moon was never there. It came from nowhere and disrupted everything. So, angel cards. So when you look at an angel card and you read an angel card, it normally has a message. That message is on there and gives you all the information and tells you what it is. So I'll give you a for instance, and I do this. I'll take these because I can see them better because my eyes aren't as fantastic as they used to be. So I'll choose an angel card. I do this sometimes through the week. So I've just chosen one, and the angel card tonight is this. Commitment. Couldn't even read that. So this is how I would read the angel cards to a client. So I wouldn't read the card to them. I would read the message first. So today is a beautiful day to simply look up and say, for the next 7 days, I will get up, make my breakfast, get on with my day, and get into bed with just one commitment. I will do this without carrying around worry or fear over over what might happen on or go wrong in these next 7 days. So with that, as I would read it, but it would be a shorter message, I would start to say it's an absolutely amazing moment for your life, because the transition from worry and fear to trust is about to enter your life. And this is such a beautiful time. Once you begin to trust your life, nothing goes wrong and everything is as it should be. So the fear of what ifs disappear. And once your fear of what ifs disappear, your mind has time to rest. You can sleep better. Insomnia disappears. Headaches disappear. Any kind of frustration in your body disappears. Stress vanishes. And all of a sudden, any kind of illness inside your body starts to repair. Your body starts to heal and get stronger and stronger. So now is the time for your healing process. Now is the time for your spiritual. When I talk about spiritual enlightenment, I don't see it as that. So I want to say you're moving to a higher level. Some people call it a higher frequency or vibration. And this is how I'd see it with you. I see you're lifting yourself free from the low feeling of depression. What if? The constant, always everything's going to go wrong. And so many of us live in that because of programming. So you can see as I'm talking to you now, this is how I would do a reading with angel cards. I'd like to leave you on this note because we're nearly up. But I find it fascinating when reading for people, the energy that comes forward and the miracles that happen thereafter. When you read and you do a good job, miracles happen for that person. Why? When you are giving a reading, you're not just reading, you're healing that person. You're giving energy that is dispersing negative energy. You are giving energy that is melting away any trauma or fear that may be there causing the block. So after a reading, if the client goes out and they find a new partner, they find a new job, they find a miracle, they find something that just changes their life, put it down to the amazing fact that what comes out of your mouth is not just words, but is an energy, and an energy to heal, and an energy to strengthen, and an energy to create magic. So for me, readings were extremely beautiful. So when I often heard non-believers or arrogant, nasty men saying, "You're a fraud, you're a nasty person," I used to think, if only you knew the power of a reading, how it can change lives and how it can make people break free from a lifetime of depression to a lifetime of laughter and love. Phenomenal, really. So that's kind of my take on readings. I hope you appreciate that. I hope this little seminar serves you well. I did leave a link somewhere to, and this isn't about promoting that. If you like what you've heard tonight, there is a special Christmas offer right now, and it's £100. And that £100 gives you free DHL delivery worldwide. So DHL delivery to like UK is about £28. America it's around about 38. And then you get a set of tarot cards exactly like these, which are normally £25. So if you're in America, 25 and 38. Also, there's a tektite, which is a beautiful crystal to wear when you're reading. So all of these things will come to you. Plus this, which lasts for 10 hours. So I'm in this room. It's a little bit darker. It's a raw video. It was when I was just finishing readings and retiring. So I was at my peak. So everything that I share in the cards, each card I talk about, you get 10 hours. Each video lasts for an hour. So that in itself is like €300. So it's almost giving it away. So I hope you appreciate that. I don't know how many decks of cards we've got left. So I think we might have about another 35, 40 left, something like that. So there's an opportunity for anybody who's never experienced reading before. There's no reason at all, no matter if you think you can't read, it doesn't matter. You'll enjoy it and you'll learn, and you'll enjoy reading for your family and for yourself, and you'll realize, bloody hell, I can read. And you can, anybody can, if you learn to get into that beautiful energy without fear and worry. And I take you on a journey of each card so you become more confident. So hopefully some people on here will have taken the course, and hopefully they will say here that I took the course, and I hope they'll say they enjoyed it. And if they didn't, please also say what you feel. But I think it's a lovely course. So that's on markbajerski.com on the home page. It used to be 250, 300, something like that. It's now at a special offer at 100. So maybe you want to take advantage of that and enjoy the course. There was a little bit of a hiccup the other day, but I think that's because I didn't pay for my my card expired. And when your card expires, you have to re-enter all your digits into sound site ground or ground site that hosts the videos. So I hope that's all done now, so there's no problem and you're enjoying learning tarot. There's I think it lasts for either 3 or 6 months, so you can keep going back to it and learning. I can't remember how long, but there is a time limit, but not like the Pure Energy Healing Academy. That's only for like 2 weeks, something like that. So that's because we want you to do the course. We want you to do it like you did it here. Not so bothered about it so much. You can, I mean, I would appreciate it if you did the tarot course and you did it like, I don't know, in 2-3 days. That would be amazing if you took some time off to do it and digested it. But then it's okay if you do it in, 1 hour a day. That's fine. I'm sure that's fine. I don't know how long the tarot course is up for, how long we allow you to watch the videos for. So yeah, that's it. I guess want to leave you on this note. The crystals that have helped me when I've done psychic readings, obviously Moldavite, Tektite, and Herkimer Diamond together. They've always been a buzz for me, always. I love Moonstone. I love working with Moonstone, with Moldavite. I love Moonstone on its own, especially if you've got a Moonstone that is, let's say, a round sphere and it's about this big, about that big. Put it down, put your hand over the sphere and gently lift your hand up and down, and you'll start to feel the energy of the crystal. That's really good practice. That's like exercising your to feel energy, and it just gets better and better from there on. Super 7 is a fabulous crystal in so many ways. So I like wearing Super 7 when I'm doing readings. At the moment, when I'm reading for myself, I really enjoy the energy of Vesuvianite. Vesuvianite, I don't know what it is. I'm really getting into that so much now. And it comes from Mount Vesuvius. It's a green crystal, and it's fairly expensive, but not as expensive as Moldavite, of course. But it is a beautiful crystal if you can find it at your local crystal store. I did have a nice selection, but they sell really quick. So I don't know how many's left. There might be 20 or 30 pieces left. I had about, I don't know, I think we ended up with 300 or 400. Most of them are all gone. But it's a beautiful crystal to open you up to this psychic energy. It's fabulous. I just absolutely love it. So I hope you've enjoyed tonight. Some tips that I share with you, some stories that are dear to my heart, and the life that I've had as a reader and healer. I'm wishing you an amazing journey in life. I hope that you can take this psychic experience and use it with love and without ego. And when you help people, you look for the answers instead of sharing their problems. They already know their problems. They need answers. And that's what we work towards. So I'm wishing you a lovely evening. Thank you so much for being here. It's now 1 hour. I think I like to cap it at 1 hour. So yeah, love you all. And I'll put this video up again on replay. And I wish you all a beautiful Christmas. I'll go on to YouTube and do another video, and just to thank everybody before I think I'll do that tomorrow, to thank everybody's support. Yeah, everybody who's always here, Peter and everybody, all you beautiful souls, Linda and uh, uh, Ramos, and so many people who have been here over this year, again supporting my website and my work, and sharing it. More importantly, sharing the love and the healing. Yeah, some great work. Love you all. And just so you know, by the way, these were channeled messages, and these easily could have been tarot cards, and this one too could have easily been tarot cards if I narrowed it down, but I ended up I find this even more beautiful and fascinating. This one is hold that thought, and this is called From My Heart to Yours. Basically, you just choose a message and you read it that day. So shall we finally finish on a message from this book? Just give me a number, and the first number that comes up from 9 till... So choose from number 9. You have to go from 9 to 150. So choose a number and I'll take the first one that comes up. Somebody's going to put 2. No, from 9 upwards to 150. See if I can read it. 56. Okay, let's see if I can read 56, because my eyes aren't brilliant at the moment. Sorry, baby. Sorry, chicken. Did I nearly knock you over? I didn't see you there. Come on, baby. See you there. Just going to read a message. Sit down, baby. Oh, okay, 56 then, eh? Okay, let's read your message tonight. This is for everybody on here. And thank you once again. Here we go. If you are looking for true love, you must begin by first discovering your inner love. Work on letting go of the past issues and focus on loving yourself. Once we find our inner love, we create a powerful energy that touches those around us and gives us a renewed and amazing love for life. Your inner love begins when you believe in your own self-worth and value. What a beautiful message. Seems to be that a lot of us are struggling to find that inner love, and it seems to be a massive message thus far. I did a love seminar the other night, and it seems to be that we all need to work on self-love, because we're being hijacked, we're being attacked every day by pain and suffering, and they're trying to normalize pain, they're trying to normalize sadness, they're trying to normalize hate, they're trying to normalize anything that is low vibration. So it steals our joy, our happiness. It seems that the world outside, this Luciferian dark satanic energy that is constantly pumped out through the black screen, is trying to steal our joy and child within. It's trying to make us miserable. It's trying to stop us from feeling love and joy like we used to do. So we need to go back. We need to find that love. We need to clear the negative energy. We need to find the inner love and start focusing on ourselves. So that's a beautiful message for all of us. Night, night, everybody. Take care. Merry Christmas, if you believe it. I just want to say Merry New Year. Merry New Year.